the world's finest mountain bikers, and hundreds of amateurs have made their way around the dusty, dry trails of the Western Cape, up and down the mountains, and have this in mind. The goal is Val de Vie Estate for the grand finale of the 2022 Absa Cape Epic. It is a glorious day in the Western Cape, and Val de Vie is set and ready to welcome them as heroes here in a few hours' time as they complete the journey, the 8-day journey that is the 2022 Absa Cape Epic. The 18th race, and we have a race to savour on this final day. 68 kilometres from Stellenbosch to Val de Vie, with just on 2,000 metres of climbing. The Simmonsberg Mountain in the background will play a role today for sure, and then they'll come flying into this beautiful lifestyle estate. Stellenbosch is the start village, the second, or start town, the second oldest town in South Africa, and alongside the five-time winner of the Absa Cape Epic from the cross-country and marathon world champion, Annika Landro. Welcome, Annika. Exciting day, isn't it?
Oh my God, it's going to be one of the most significant finals of this race. I can't wait.
And Neil Gardner sitting alongside you. Why are we getting so excited, Neil?
Well, we were doing some analysis as the stage finished yesterday, and we noticed that it's the closest ever in the men's category. It's the closest ever. So we've never been this, the two teams in contention have never been this close going into the final day. So we've got Speed Company Racing on 2 minutes and 45 seconds behind Canyon Northway, and the last time we were this close was even comparatively close was in 2007. And even the big long battle between Carl Pass and Stefan Swan and Rolf Wilson and David Wilson, and that was 3 minutes 33 seconds. So the 2 minutes 45, really all could happen, and if you can't find back to that 2007 stage, the final stage, the grand finale, management to learn stages, they were attacked all the morning from rapid turbo training, really trying everything they could, and we saw the stage really altitude,
legendary wine region is crawling with purposeful structured trails, and it promises to be a spectacular race. There are no long times today, but the relentless rise and fall of the beautiful Saffron Lake. Now, 76 kilometers on time, 2,700 vertical meters. The men's program is current leaders in India, Andrew Northway, North Champion Andreas Trevor, and world number 2, Martin Stolzek. Almost 7 minutes on their closest rival, one Sunday Specialized. And that is the new competition Cannondale. The next second behind the team company races, they are Ortega and Lucas Bond at their first Africa epic. The gun going is going to be an explosive race in Richmond Market Stage. All the top teams are fighting for a win, and the overall GC podium is still in the balance. They have a 537 kilometers of racing in their leg, and this is the point that track start to show. Fireworks from the outset, with 30 minutes into the race, Nico Andreas Silva is struggling with the pace today. Martin Martin Stolzek tries to control the race from the front. Frustration is evident with Xiaomi from Speed Country Racing, elbows his way through his single track descent. The second on the GC are 91 on the stretch line. They're also struggling today. Andreas is incredibly fast on riding for the country undulations and control of the full South African champion. His fast full track world title holder Chris Clemens takes to the front of Dino Shirt as the cross-country world champion. A huge amount of purposeful trails in today's stage, the two put in a masterclass in stylish mountain biking through the Palo curves. In Rio Ferretti, David Ravenstein and Mark Alman are national champions for Italy and Belgium, respectively, and are currently 8th overall, 50 minutes down in the GC. They have problems in the early stages of the race, so today they've targeted the stage program. By the 45-kilometer mark, they have almost 2 minutes on the chasing team at Speed Company Racing. Racing is Cannondale Northway, but feeling the pressure of a big week so far. They're almost 4.5 minutes off today's lead, and more importantly, they're just less than 3 minutes behind Speed Company Racing, who are second on the GC. The young German team starts out of the water and push to make as much time as possible. William Ferrari keeps driving to the end. It's been a fantastic ride from the Italian Belgian duo. They've ridden almost the entire race alone, but taken to the finish line in just over 3 hours and 15 minutes. Speed Company Racing spread to the end and crossed the line in second, going from third to second in the GC. They are followed by the William Ferrari factory team in third, their first podium of the 2022 Africa Epic. Everybody is yellow across the line just over 5.5 minutes later. Bjorn and Stolzek struggled today and used just over 4 minutes in the GC. New faces on the men's podium today. We see Ted Newby, Cameron Moore, and Jesma from William Ferrari Racing in third. In second, Speed Company Racing, Georg Egger and Lucas Baum. And the stage 6 win goes to Bart Allemann alongside 5-time KKV finisher David Ravensteiner from William Ferrari. Still in the overall lead, Cannondale Northway, Andreas Silva and Martin Stolzek. Their gap shrinks to 2 minutes and 45 seconds ahead of Speed Company Racing. The women lineup on the second to last stage of the race. Overall leaders 91 Sandra Specialized, Haley Batman, Sophia Global Theathan, Focus and they know it's going to be another fun battle against Faces Roller and Mill and Marissa Strauss. The gun goes on stage 6 on the women's field sprint out of the gate. This stage is the most single track of the event. It'll be a pleasure to ride, but it is also incredibly draining both physically and mentally. Haley Batman, the orange jersey, leads the charge by the single track. 37 kilometers checkpoint, 91 Silver Specialized and Faces Roller are still together. The two dominating teams, Specialized and Faces, battle back and forth over the next 50 kilometers. They descend the ground at Launching with speed into Stellenbosch, with only 12 kilometers of racing left. EMC Racing, Maureen Ferrari Trevor, Robin the Sprint, have had a mixed cake epic with 3 wins and 3 difficult days. They're in third in GC and almost 27 minutes off the leaders. Enjoying the trails today, they aim to take time holdings, still managing their energy level for the final stage tomorrow. As the race reaches its climax, 91 Sunday Specialized opened a small gap at the Faces Roller. In the last few kilometers, they're only 25 seconds apart. The Vietnam and Vietnam and Haley Batman push hard and take the win in 4 hours 1 minute. It's an impressive ride from Faces and Roller, finishing second, 39 seconds behind. EMC Racing at Maureen Ferrari Trevor, under the third, cross the line and take third. On the podium, EMC Racing are on the bottom step. Faces Roller left
the team from second. And the pair of the day are 21 from the Specialized. Today's podium reflects the positions on the GC, with Specialized extending their lead to almost 16 and a half minutes with just 1 day to go.
So it is all coming down to our final stage with the burst. The lows of the trails, the rocky and the rough trails are great, and across to Stellenbosch, where they had riding yesterday, and now the final day. It is stage 760 meters, 2,000 meters of climbing, and yesterday's stage was set up today for Marvel Green to South End. So look at a little reflection on what today is all about. Today's stage of the trails from Stellenbosch. Well, there are no really major climbs today, but it's full of challenges all the way through. Yeah, you know that the opportunity to get ahead because forward in the riding section, we're up in 11 kilometres of single track. That would be key thing in the line to win today's stage.
Well, if you look at Speed Company Racing and the times they have to make up to get into yellow, it really, there's not a lot of road to get that much time. And of course, we did see Canyon Northwave losing around about 3.5, 4 minutes or so to the Germans, to the very animating pair in the race. And today's a relatively short stage. Let's see if when they actually do make that attack, because they've got to make it quite late.
They certainly do, and Silverbridge Mountain is an opportunity. There are a couple of times on either side of that massive little given the opportunities to more than half and then the Silverbridge Trails and Cannondale to the beautiful Silverbridge Cemetery and Durfabia Trails as well. That little section, 35 kilometres loaded with single track. And then they will have that last time up the cost of Silverbridge that far down towards the finish here. The privilege of those the other lovely times here at the Western Cape. And of course, the finish is right here at one of the cleanest lifestyle estates in the world. It is, of course, a Brown View. Look at that one. This is how it does pan out. We're going down to 2:45 to race on here today.
And we were looking at third spot, Matthew Beers and Christopher Devins at 7 minutes and 40 seconds. And still not out of it. I think one of the others had a bad day, and they did very well, easily shuttle and lead it all around. But it seems like Bacon and Beers are perhaps out of contention at 20 minutes. That 20 minutes is quite significant, because we know that Hans Bacon is keen to repeat his stage when going into the Grand Finale with Jose Diaz. But 20 minutes deficit, or 20 minutes on over easy, they won't be given the kind of freedom that we would expect to be given to the likes of Victoria and Joubert for stages that the sport lines on team will be targeting for stage in Scots Rand perhaps. We've got our eye on them, we've got our eye on the Falls of course, and of course William Pirelli's best iron ball at 60 on the right.
6:13 to run stages here. Of those top 7, the Bulls and Buckley will have had one stage. And of course, Scots Rand are well at the pace, but they've got the capability in the pipeline to bring it home today. In the Cycleops women's category, Henny Battman's Cycleops DFM did it again yesterday, the third stage winner, consolidated their on the orange jersey. 16 minutes, he got it, he made up today.
I got it. Obviously, what we've seen is that the real farm has been quite well like the truck for the last couple of stages. There's definitely relatively late in those stages, and I'm quite sure that real farm is a candidate for a long stage today.
So the team will try to pull perhaps Pauline Bellon-Pavone in her first Attica Epic, Robin the first in her last trying to be in CMTV racing. The first is only one of this women's field who has won a Grand Finale stage, so perhaps she'll want to bring the curtain down. I know she will bring the curtain down on her Attica Epic with the stage win. And what about the Marie Robin Haley Queen doing something today, trying to climb holdings that have been remarkably solid over the
week, finishing on the podium 3 out of the last 4 stages and moving into 4th place. Lucy and Wakefield have had a struggle over the last few days. I know Lucy's not 100%, but battling on they are to the finish. Simtek ZA. This is the one of the wonderful polo fields here at the Val de Vie Lifestyle Estate. This is the 5th year we are finishing at this wonderful estate just outside Paarl. 2017 is the first year, and 2022 is going to be very, very special at this wonderful place. Beautiful strategies, Val de Vie will bring the curtain back on the 2022 Cannondale. Let's get to know you this morning in Stellenbosch, and before we go in, absolutely perfect conditions for the riders today.
Yes, nice conditions. We saw all sorts of weather conditions this week, from even up to over 2 or a little bit rain at some point, and yeah, we get a good final day today with very good weather conditions.
And lots of wind and breaking stage with the second stage so cup. Perfect conditions over the last couple of days here. So away go the elite men, and very soon. They will take it away from the field. Doing it for any team. We won yesterday's stake and the insult on the front, but very, very present up the shot. And that team right again won it. Cannondale and Lucas down on the second and third year there. Yellow jersey just behind them. And then the elite women's field rolled away. The short down race up from the start there, and significantly through the rough on the front there. They've won 3 stages so far to introduce through this week, but they've had some dark days in between them. It's all about consistency if you want to make your campaign for the overall team classification. It's not necessarily the goal of the MTB racing, although everyone comes here to win. Coming into the race, they were perhaps breaking on and to reform and looking at the 91 Sunday specialist who they look well poised and very consistent, very well prepared. So we do expect to see more from William Francover and Robert de Kruijs today. They didn't go all out yesterday, and in direct contrast to the two top contending teams on the overall DC. Expected for that 91 Sunday specialist having diced each other for the last 2 days. So perhaps a little bit fresher, William Francover and Robert de Kruijs. Having taken a slightly easier day yesterday, we expect big things, and of course we expect huge things from the men's race because it is so close on overall GC, and we will wait to see it all unfold at the AXA Cape Epic 2022.
And we are with action from a little bit earlier today in the Islands Valley area, the beautiful community trails that have been looked after and prepared by the wonderful community in Islands Valley, and immediately a little bit of a climb sees girls again Lucas down of Speed Company Racing turn up the heat. They are determined to try and make it back as much fun as they possibly can, as early as they possibly can. If you say it has to happen early, the first full time they go.
They have to position quite early because if they want to get to see themselves in the other field by the end of the day, they have to fight those in 2 minutes and 45 seconds, like from the very start. And today we don't have like a massive plan. It's more a little bit spread out over the entire course. Means whenever there's a little bit of a plan, so they go for it. So really I'm very excited.
A little acceleration at the time on Ida's Valley, above the Ida Valley Dam, has just stretched out the whole group here. And that does make things very, very interesting at the sharp end, putting some pressure on the sharp end where 7241, Catania and Taparel. And they are looking for a stage win here. Yeah, they've had a big week really. They're getting stronger and stronger.
Well, we see them here in more or less the second group as they're chasing after the marauding Scotsman. We did expect to see Scotsman going all out for a statement. And they will join in the very front group by Speed Company Racing, William Murray, Dragonstein and Alleman. And a team that we also have our eye on today is Team Santa Cruz, and that's Maxime Ross and Keegan Swenson.
And meanwhile, the women's full weight, it looks like flat and it's one of those stages in London comes in the race in the front. I haven't seen that people do numerous things. They tend to go for a stage for the race. But it will not be easy because when you see right in the tail, once again, it's a stage like you just fall in review. And it also looks like actually the GC in the race is up there too. So yeah, it's still very open. Everything can happen in this stage today.
Also, a stage win at the Grand Finale in Valverde is one of the most coveted and desirable stages to have in your Palmares, and very prestigious to be winning on the final day in terms of class. There will be lining the finish line. Will be a hero's welcome for all finishers today at Valverde, especially for the winners as but we saw just with the back there in the blue outfit, the private client holding very well, the A3 also very much present and correct. But obviously you see William Frankfurt by Robin de Cruz is biding their time, waiting poised for their next move.
And this is the lead group still climbing up into the Luxembourg area, and there are 4 teams in there: Scotsman, Speed Company Racing, Ria Pirelli, Rosenstein and Alman and Santa Cruz. And significantly, Andreas Stewart and Martin Stortek and Cannondale were not in this group, are 40 seconds behind already here. So significant margins here very early on. And so we've said earlier, no really long drives to open a big gap. With these short, sharp pitches, we can bet every single one of them, as we've seen here, will be an opportunity for Speed Company Racing for the pressure. There the yellow jerseys in the second group.
Well, they significantly at the back of that chase group, and the chase group does include Toyota 91 Specialized, that is the third place overall GC. They'll hope to just get over this really steep hump that they are riding up right now, and hope to cooperate with the 91 Songo Special and Toyota 91 Specialized team. And of course, up the road, Scotsman and William Pirelli and Santa Cruz looking for a stage when Speed Company Racing have a different agenda. Their agenda is the overall. They may do a deal with the front, those operating teams who are looking for a stage with good cooperation in exchange for a ride to finish. Let's see how the politics unfold on the race today.
It is all unfolding in dramatic fashion very, very early on as they are going over the little shoulder of this ridge with Rustenburg Farm down below, and they're heading up towards Point Rock and Norwood Trail and the Simonsburg Mountain up on the left-hand side. And the yellow jerseys having to work really hard to earn the right to keep those for the year for Cannondale play. They won stage 1, and they held that yellow jersey since then. But it was very clear to me yesterday that India Silva was not in his game yesterday, and what he's supposed to come to nurse him through the day. It's one of those things that friction happens through the weekend. If you have a slight niggle or an illness or a perhaps a very injury, can happen you later on in the week.
It all has possible. Bear in mind, these athletes to every single day, and having to recover from something at the same time as you're every single day or like pushing your body so hard is definitely not easy. nothing station, we always going to talk about the build-up of the Cannondale to Xiaomi. Having a back myself, it's something really too big, it doesn't feel too much, but it looks like he's relatively okay. We'll see how he will make it to the finish line today. Very exciting actually.
Will certainly not be an easy day for the Canyon Northwave team. Any previous years, if we've seen any kind of relaxed roll to the finish, where the GC riders leave it up to the stage winners to fight it out, this is not one of those days at all. This is not that kind of grand finale in 2022. It is the closest fought yet. It's the closest we've ever seen the GC going into the final stage at 2 minutes 45. The Speed Company Racing are in deficit on GC, but they are up the road over 40 seconds ahead.
Last year's stage winners Hans Becking and Jose Diaz dropped into the third group. This is Wout Alleman and Fabian Ravensteiner, and they are in that lead group. Behind them, Lars Forster. Is he finally finding his legs this week? Lars Forster with Nino Schurter. He's had a really tough week, Lars Forster. So they are also targeting this stage win. And so it's really interesting because we've got stage hunters in the front here in William Pirelli and Scott Stram, and as well as Santa Cruz, Maxime Marot and Keegan Swenson. And the GC contenders, of course, is Gail Gega and Lucas Baum, the purple-blue kit, who have been the revelations of the 2022 FCK, but not newbies here at the event. As are Marot and Swenson, but they really have been fantastic in the way they've approached every single day. Aggressive, looking to take the fight to the yellow jerseys. There's all these established FCK teams and races.
And certainly the brash Germans have made the racing super exciting all week. In fact, very rarely we haven't seen them on the attack. Almost every single day they've been animating the race. And of course, direct contrast to the established teams, they arrive with only one team support member, and that is a great story to tell. And an even better story is just how they're animating the stage. No doubt they are benefiting from the agendas of the other three teams in this chase group. They are benefiting from the high pace and the eagerness of these three teams to win the stage. And as the fourth team with them, they'll look to cooperate and perhaps do even a greater share of the work just to keep that group running. You saw the Germans go to the front, keeping the momentum going. A bit of a lull on the pace after the climb, after the descent. They want to keep that gap as big as possible, but we do see the chasing Canyon Northwave team. They're on the front, they've taken the initiative of the race, and of course also getting some help from Christopher Levens, also not keen to let Speed Company Racing up the road, and some very good cooperation there. Good politics, the good politicians are the yellow jersey wearers, knowing that the agendas are similar, and encouraging the third place team on overall to join in the chase.
The 5 races in second and third, Speed Company Racing and Virgin 91 specialised at the moment, but look at the split of 16 kilometres. Scott Tran in that lead with Speed Company Racing, William Pirelli, Santa Cruz, all looking to gain something out of today. Those 3 of those 4 teams in terms of the stage win. William Pirelli have one already, so that's Scott Tran, but Santa Cruz not. And they're a team with this of David Soup, I think Swenson and David.
Yeah, I haven't been into the factor. We saw them earlier on in this week, but to some point where even the people matches with speed after Speed Company Racing, and then eventually they blew out of it. So the question is, because the Speed Company is not gonna hold back the whole today. So the question is, Central is fresh enough to become match and speed all the way to the end. And today it's not as long stage as around the other stages. So in fact they see that they are getting to this stage of them already in the inside, and it could be that we are up for a very, very tight straight finish.
Look at the difference there, 2:07. They've brought it down by 38 seconds right now. Speed Company Racing narrowing that gap, trying to open it up, and we're only inside the first 20 kilometres of the 68 kilometre stage. So they're doing all they can, and of course, this is it's the Tour de France of mountain biking, referred to by great bike mentions early on in the evolution of this race, and it is very similar to that, with one exception. This final day is not a procession, it's a race, and this is a terrible moment for Bart Megema, the pair of Jose Diaz and the Dutch champion unexpected. Stage winners last year, and they have a real puncher. So struggling to seal it. Might be a sidewheel cut. And that is not the sort of start they wanted to their final stage here. They are in fourth overall. They've got they're 13 minutes behind third, and they're nearly 10 minutes ahead of the Bulls. So they're unlikely to lose their position on general classification, but they will be hoping to repeat their win of last year when they won the grand finale stage into Round B.
And an episode like this could really put that under jeopardy, because there is a long way to go. If it is a longer stage, a longer format stage like we've seen during the week, and have a little bit of time to make up that time. But at 68 kilometers, and especially with the pace that we've seen set at the front by the likes of Shota and of course Speed Company Racing, it's going to take a huge effort for Buff Megamo to catch up. And if they do, how much energy will they have spent just to close that gap? So it looks like that we could be down to slightly fewer teams at the front contending for the stage win.
And we were better players than the races, and you can see the scenario that we've seen in the last couple of days. It's the exact same scenario. So all teams pushing hard at the beginning, and not long into the stage. We see the connections, the stage is over, and the 9 ones and the Specialized teams being together. They are so well matched. They can match each other. There's another long difference in strength between these two teams. And we have seen each team get the upper hand when it came to the game factor. But after the stage, the Specialized team is solid and just had a little bit of extra energy in the big game. And now the two teams are back together in the lead. And it's a very tactical race in Europe.
After 16 kilometers, they had a 19-second lead as the team seemed to be racing on private point holding, so they separated themselves from that group. As we look back to the men's race, and the speed with which these men left the start at Stellenbosch was very similar to a cross-country race. It was unbelievable the blistering speed they left the field, and they've not relented one bit here. They are hammering it along, and Lars Forster is the man doing the driving on the front of that group. And Speed Company Racing very happy with that. As this is the chase group, Canyon Northway, Toyota 91 Specialized, and the William team chasing hard to stay in touch as best they can. Look at the pace, the yellow jerseys on the front here. They sense there's a problem here. They know there's a problem because their closest rivals are up the road.
But this is a good sign for the Canyon Norway team. We can see them at the front now of this chasing group. And it looks like they just need those first kilometers to get the engine going, the legs warmed up. And once they kind of hit a good speed, they can kind of maintain that. Now let's see if it's really good. And we know today it's all about counting those seconds. And then if they feel good, they need to go to the front and do it as much as possible against the leading teams.
Nowadays, there's so little difference between marathon races and cross-country races. However, but to make up this group of these, Canyon Northway are out-and-out marathon specialists. This is what they do. Andreas Sidolf and Martin Stossek. But you've got the likes of Chris Blevins, who's the short track world champion, and the World Cup winner, of course, in that chase group. And then in this lead group, you've got the marathon specialist in William Perelli, but you've also got the finest cross-country race of his generation, Nino Schurter, and Lars Forster, world and European champion. So the mix is fascinating, but it all counts for nothing today because it's all about who's going to win the stage and fulfill the overall.
And the two are so interlinked because we have the chase, we have the leading group up here, the 4 teams, only 3 are really looking purely for a stage win, and one of the teams, significantly Speed Company Racing, are looking to gain time on Canyon Northwave on the overall. So it's all about how those two agendas will meet and how much Speed Company Racing can cooperate and help keep that speed as high as possible. Even if they have to do more work at the front, they've sacrificed the stage win just to get more time on their overall rivals.
It's a quite an interesting scenario. So you see here the lead is led by Speed Company Racing. Their only influence today is kind of fighting in the second where they can. And the same scenario here on the chasing group, now the Canyon Norway team the top, they are also not going to hold back at all. So a lot of teams can kind of benefit from that.
Northway are down on Speed Company Racing. Those are the two in first and fifth. As you look at those are the two contesting the overall. Toyota 91 Specialized in there as well. But all the other teams here are Scott Stram, Santa Cruz and William Pirelli hunting the stage. But look, Speed Company Racing would happily take the stage win, but they'd rather take the overall, I can tell you that.
And it's quite interesting if we compare these splits at kilometer 23 to the ones at, I think it was kilometer 16. Actually, the gap between Speed Company Racing and Canyon and Northway looks like it's pretty much the same. So it looks like Canyon Northway, they kind of needed those first kilometers to get the legs and the bodies going, and now they can kind of maintain the same speed as Speed Company Racing, but it's still a long stage to go. It's not over yet.
Well, of course, we've got 4 teams up here. 3 are really looking to contend for the stage win, and they also have all to gain from the agenda of Egger and Baum, who are pushing the pace. So it's likely that the idea, if you're looking for a stage win, is to try and reduce that the chances of a sprint finish. And if Egger and Baum are, if they exhaust themselves, if they spend all their energy on keeping this gap as high as possible, they will not have enough left for a sprint finish. So in that case, it would leave just 3 teams for the podium and to fight about for that prestigious stage win. We've got very canny riders who have, in fact, won many stages before. The William Pirelli team, the outfit, are always animators in the latter half of the race. We've talked about it in the last week, but we expect great things. And Alleman and Ravensteiner they won yesterday's stage, and they're clearly on form. They're on the money, and all to gain from Speed Company Racing, pushing the pace and almost leading like a locomotive, pulling this group as far away as they can from the Canyon Northway team. We see that the gap has stabilized, which is good news for the German and the Czech rider. But still a little bit to go on the stage, especially with some big obstacles to go. They've got to pass that major climb still, the 3.5 kilometer climb that is averaging around about 10%. And then from that point, from around about the 50 kilometer mark, there's more or less an even run into the finish. But that descent off that 3.5 kilometer climb at the 50 kilometer mark is a risky descent. And it will be interesting to see how many risks the teams do take on that descent, because if you just risk a little bit too much, that could cost, could cause a mechanical and of course disastrous for any team that are looking at an agenda for a stage win, and of course for the overall.
Also, those 11 kilometers of single track around the Marathi is a significant point in this race, because if, as we speculate, Sebald is struggling from sore ribs, I didn't tell you, having been there myself, it's harder to navigate, to be smooth and fast and efficient on the trails if you're having sore ribs. It's different if the injury was something different, but I have a feeling that we could see Sebald struggling a little bit on those single track sections, simply because he has pain in his ribs. It's harder to be stable on the bike.
Well, they're heading across the road that links to Marathi and Delheim Farms, and they're heading into that section of single track. This is where it all starts. The wonderful trail network around Marathi is quite simply fantastic, and it's a climb now. They'll have to head up here. There's the gap you saw the leaders go through a short while ago, but around about 11 kilometers of single track, which doesn't offer a great deal of opportunity for passing, but there are certain moments, and the riders who know the trail, who are alert, and if they need to, will take those opportunities. But you can bet that the men on the front aren't going to be trying to pass anyone, because they are just going flat out. They won't want anyone ahead of them. The team of Speed Company Racing.
Well, Speed Company Racing don't really have a lot of opportunity to put major time into their rivals in these single track sections. The gap, we don't expect the gap, all being even, if there are no mistakes and no major blowouts and no mechanicals, we don't expect the gap to grow or shrink that much, or not significantly anyway, perhaps by a few seconds. But where gaps really start to open up are on the steep climbs, and also on the open roads, where it's likely that the teams will cooperate. And then if it is say 4 teams versus 1 chasing team, then there could be some significant gaps opening up. But all eyes on that descent off the 50-kilometer mark. And of course, around about just approximately 10 k's of flatlands going into Val de Vie, into the grand finale, into the polo fields. There might be a section there where Speed Company Racing might want to put the hammer down. But still, autoplay for these trails, it's all about getting through each section in one piece. And Speed Company Racing they haven't been off the front for quite a while. They are absolutely charging.
They won't want to be off the front, I think, at this stage. They don't want to risk any of the other teams playing any games at all here. The others will hitch their wagons to their tails and fly up this trail.
We just see Alleman really struggling with this immense pace that Speed Company Racing are setting, and that is a sign as to how fast Speed Company Racing really are going. They are riding this stage as if it's really the last stage they ever do, and in fact it is really the last stage of the Absa Cape Epic. So it's clear that they are all in. They have focused all week on causing a huge disruption in this race, and not just for the sake of it, because they have an agenda to win the overall, and they can just smell it. At the start of the day, they were 2 minutes and 45 seconds behind the Canyon Northway team, and that is the closest we've seen so far at the Absa Cape Epic going into the final stage.
We're 25 kilometers into a 68-kilometer stage. It's riveting stuff up ahead on the top, halfway up that mountain, are the stage leaders, Speed Company Racing. They're needing to make up 2 minutes and 45 over the yellow jerseys, who are around 45 seconds behind them. High drama. Winding up the single track in Marathi. There's no let up from Gail Geiger and Lucas Baum. Nino Schurter sitting on their wheel with Lars Forster behind, and they are holding nothing back. Santa Cruz, one of their riders, just yo-yoing off the back there. Bart Alman and Fabian Rabensteiner have been shed off the back there, just on their own there, and then the yellow jersey group around, as we said, 40, maybe 45 seconds back. Such has been the intensity of the pace up here.
Just looking at the pictures here, the speed that they're going, it looks like they're going the same speed as in a cross-country race, which is something it's only 1.5 hours, and you do that race well rested. Well, these riders had already 7 brutally hot days in the legs, and they're going at a speed that I've never seen on a final stage in this race before. It's impressive.
It's fantastic racing, isn't it? Yeah, it says something for the